It's Monday, it's 8 p.m, it's the Monday assessment. Up the Jills!
Your people gather round your town when things are on the up or things are falling down. Celebrate the hard times, stay passionate through the lows, find strength in the chaos, no matter which way it goes. It's not easy being blue. Heartbreak comes in many ways, the hardest times, the darkest days, but all these things get washed away with us, with us. The highs might not come every day, but memories do, and memories stay. Enjoy that moment anyway with us, with us, with us. It's not easy being blue. It's not easy being blue.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Monday Assessment by the View from the Medway Fancast in partnership with Gillingham FC Supporters Club, Sports Social Podcast Network and Her Game 2, and sponsored by none other than Snodhurst Used Car Sales and Service Station and Wicked Creative. What a time it is to be a Gills fan. Gareth Ainsworth's men are now 21 games unbeaten, a run that's turning heads across League 2 and beyond. Saturday saw another statement performance, a 3-1 victory away to Newport County, with Gills showing grit, determination, quality and belief. Today, we'll break down the result, celebrate this incredible unbeaten streak and look ahead to what's next for not just us as a team, but us as fans. So without further ado, I'm delighted this evening to be joined by Warren. Why has he got his head up?
Mate,
I'm joined by
after
Dino
what-
and I'm joined by Bex. How are we, guys? All right.
All good, yeah.
What's he doing?
It's all this newfound fame. He's in disguise.
mate, after the Project 8000 has lifted off on Twitter today, right? If we lose Saturday, people are going to want to throw pelters at me, right? So if I'm not recognised, I might get away with it.
Fuck's sake. Thank you, Lars. I'll put your head down. Anyway, Dino, how are you, mate? Nice to see you and welcome to the show, mate. It's podcast virgin, aren't you?
Well, people have been trying to get me to join one for a while, but I thought I'd finally give in and come on.
There we go. Bex, yourself, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
There we go. So before we do get started, I want to touch on Bex. Just want to say a massive shout out to her because not many of you know, but she is just had an operation because she had breast cancer. Hopefully that is now gone. But Bex, I just want to touch on that a minute and let's make it a bit known to people what you've gone through and what we can do to combat that in the future.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it was a bit of a shock because they found it accidentally. But because it was caught by accident, it was caught lucky and early. So as you say, hopefully now I've had my op, it's all good. But I just think the big thing is raising awareness because there's so much stigma around breast cancer, and especially around breast cancer in men, because men do get it just like women do, but men don't necessarily check themselves. So I just want to say, you know, if you've got anything, not just lumps, but anything that looks different, get seen and insist on getting scanned, because if I hadn't stamped my feet, who knows what would have happened. But yeah, I want to take the opportunity really to say a massive thank you to the club, because last Saturday I was still at the home game, day after the surgery, but that's no excuse to miss a game. But I did have some contact with Joe Comper and he's been fantastic. Anything that I need to help make the games accessible, he said he'll do. And that support is just amazing, just so you don't have to miss out. A big shout out to Warren for cutting my chicken last week. Yeah,
But I used to have to do that before your breast cancer.
Right, so guys, before we get into the game itself, I just want to ask you all something that you've done this week that isn't football related. So Dino, I'll start with you, mate, and something that you've been proud of this week that you haven't, that isn't football related, really.
I got nominated for an award at work, so that was quite a big deal. So yeah, that's a first for me. I've been in my job a couple of years, and work have nominated me for an award. I've got to go to a fancy dinner and everything in a couple of weeks, which will not work well for me having to dress up for once. But that's my done well in the last week or so.
There we go. And Bex, yourself?
Well, I mean, we've shared my big one, but I'm hoping my big one's going to come on Saturday when I can get a football shirt on for the first time.
There we go. And Warren, yourself, mate?
No, not really. Apart from having to owe quite a few favours for getting out of work early on Saturday to go to Newport, because I didn't decide to go till 1 o'clock when I got the all clear from my boss. So a big shout out to Ben Donnelly, who's a Gillingham fan and actually went to Newport himself. But no, not. I marked a bowls final, and a Jules fan, Trevor Loveridge, won the final on Sunday. Apart from that, it's been quite boring.
Fair enough.
Very quiet. I lead a very quiet, subdued life, Chris.
Yeah, is that right? Is that why you just take the piss out of everyone else?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Anyway, so for me, it's been nothing. I've had a week's holiday off work. I've literally painted my kids' rooms. I've redecorated. So yeah, that's pretty much it, boys and girls. So we will quickly move on to the Exile Facts, because we are doing the Views News a different way around this week. So they will be at the end of the show instead of the start of the show. So the Exile Facts are: Newport were originally founded in 1912, yet reformed in 1989. They won the FAW Premier League in 2008, and they're also runners-up in the FA Trophy in 2012. The Amber Army refers to the club's dedicated fan base. So with that said, we will quickly move on to our lineup. So we had the ever-young Glenn Morris in goal. We then had a back four of Max Clark, Andy Smith, Sam Gow and Romeo Hutton, with Robbie McKenzie just in front of them. We then had a three of Johnny Smith, Johnny Williams and Bradley Dack, and then a front two of Josh Andrews and Elliot Nevitt. There we go. So, Dino, I'll start with you, matey. What were your thoughts on the lineup itself?
I wasn't too unhappy with it. I was hoping that Smith was going to be on the left rather than the right, because the week before I didn't think it really worked with him being in front of Hutton. So, I was quite pleased. And when he started on the left, that's how I would have preferred it to have been.
Yeah. And to be fair, I think it did change. We will get into the game in isolation itself, but I did think it changed after they scored their first goal. We kind of moved it around a bit, Warren, didn't we?
Yes, mate. I think this formation gives quite a bit of fluidity amongst the team. I'm surprised Coleman didn't start, I must admit. And maybe either one of Smith, Williams or Dack missing out. But that said, this team did well the previous Saturday against Notts County. Give them another go. It gives a chance for some of our injured players to get fit. Maybe just get a few minutes at the end of the game, which is what they did. Put some more minutes in their legs. As far as I was concerned, I was fine with it until the first minute.
Yeah, and Bex yourself, like, obviously, we are now reverting to a back four now that we actually have wingers. And I have said this on previous shows, and even when I was on the ME7 a couple of weeks ago, that now that we've got actual true wingers, we can actually try and use that and revert to a back four. So, yeah, what were your thoughts on the lineup?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a big fan of a back four. I much prefer it to playing a five. I don't exactly know why that is. It's just something I've always, ever since I was a kid, I've liked to back for. It's probably the penalty of growing up following Man United. But I think what Warren says is right. Yeah, don't raise your eyebrows at me, Chris. I think what works well with our starting 11 is that we've got a lot of players in that team that don't necessarily stay in their positions, but they cover each other well. You know, we saw a few times where Gale was getting a long way forward, but then Nevitt was back covering. So I think that setup works quite well because it plays to the individual strengths of the team.
Yeah. There we go. There we go then. So we will move on to the game itself, I guess. And obviously, Poku scored within the first 26 seconds, I believe it was. It says 1 minute, but we have to play by the play. Dino, what were your thoughts once he had scored that goal? Did you think that we'd come back, or do you think that it was another Gills performance against Newport that we were just never going to do it?
No, I think this season, I was saying to the people I was standing next to, this season, I'm not worried at all when we let a goal in, if I'm honest. I was a bit worried when they got the penalty, but to be honest, I think, no, I wasn't worried at all. I wasn't even shocked that we went 1-0 down. I was sort of half expecting the sort of the fairy tale of the unbeaten run to be that we would come back from it. But no, I wasn't worried at all. I was shocked how bad the defending was, but I wasn't shocked and I wasn't worried at all, if I'm honest.
There we go. There we go. And Bex, I think I said to you at the time, or roughly about the time, I was just like, and I think I said on the group as well, Warren, that I was like, we're going to win 3-1 here. Like, we're not losing this game. We are not losing this game, even when we went 1-0 down. But it was quite worrying on the 7th minute when we then conceded a penalty. So, yeah, Warren, what was your thoughts, mate?
I was stood on the end and I said to this bloke, Morris has got absolutely no chance of saving this. We're 2-0 down. This is our bogey ground. We're absolutely going to get hammered here, right? And again, Glenn Morris proves me wrong, makes me look an idiot, and that was a catalyst to a change in fortunes. I think if ever there was a wake-up call, I think that was it.
Yeah, because it would have made us 2-1 down, 2-0 down, wouldn't it?
And fair play to Glenn. Although it was a comfortable penalty save, I thought it was really funny when the bloke missed the rebound, because that was hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, and Bex yourself.
Last season, didn't it?
Yeah. I just want to say, though, with that, when you watch it back, yeah, he missed it. It was pretty shocking the way it rolled wide. But fair play to Dak, because he was running in so hard to follow that up. I think it did put him off a bit. And I think that's probably part of the reason he fluffed the rebound. So, yeah, I mean, what a pivotal moment that was. If that had gone...
He fluffed the rebound because he was shit.
Well, that too.
So we will move on then. And on the 33rd minute, Dacky scored. It come over, I think it was Hutton that crossed it over, Dino, wasn't it? And then it just kind of went everywhere, and then Ducky just smashed it into the bottom corner, mate. Yeah,
I think that's why, for me, we had to keep him this season, because I think there would have been other people that would have been, out the ground. But he's just got that class, I think, which is why we did the right thing, re-signing him. And yeah, from the moment it was going to him, I personally didn't have any doubts it was going in. It's a bit of a repeat from the was it the Walsall game? He did the same thing, I think. Was it the Walsall at home? He scored a similar type of goal. But no, I think if it went to anyone else, maybe we would have panicked. But it went to him, and I think it was always going in.
Yep. And Bex, your thoughts on Dacky's first goal?
Quality strike. I like watching Dak because you can see how well he reads the game. And when you watch that ball coming out to him, he's been able to predict exactly where that ball's going to end up. And he's already running to that spot before the ball gets there. And all he's got to do is make contact. So, yeah, great goal.
Yeah, and Warren, yourself?
Yeah, I think Bradley Dack is now reaping the benefits of getting fit. But there's no other player in this division that takes up positions like he does where the ball drops to him, right? You look at some of the goals he's got when he's come back far post from corners, from outside the box, just inside the box. He's just got this knack, and he hasn't lost it since he was here first time round, of being in the right place at the right time. But it's his coolness that impresses me all the time. When he gets the ball in those positions, he knows exactly what he's going to do. He didn't smash it. He didn't spring a leg at it. He placed it right in the bottom corner. And to me, that just showed all the class of Bradley Dack getting somewhere near, and he'll never be back to his absolute best, but getting somewhere near to his best.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. And then obviously we will talk about the golden goal of the day. Dino, I think it was passed off to Johnny Smith, and then he's just cut inside, ran, and he just curled it pretty much like top corner, didn't he, mate? And it was brilliant.
Yeah, I think the moment Hutton passed to him, it was a bit like, go on. Oh, yeah, to be honest, that's why we signed a player like him, isn't it? Because he's got that in his locker. And to be honest, I was just pleased for once Hutton passed to him, because the whole of the previous week, he didn't pass to him at all, I don't think. But no, I mean, I think it was from the moment I was actually about 5 rows behind Warren. But from when he hit it, I think it was always going in, and it was a quality goal. So
Yeah. And Warren, yourself, mate, and you were 5 rows in front of Dino. So how did you see it?
To be honest, I forgot to celebrate. I was marvelling at the goal so much, right? I forgot to jump up and down and celebrate, to be honest. You cannot buy quality like that, right? And if he produces that bit of quality once every couple of weeks, right, that's the difference between staying in this division and getting out of it. I thought it just proved what he's about. Because up until then, I was thinking there was a bit like Jack Nolan, but a better version, of course. But his movement was very good. He's very good at being able to manoeuvre around to try and find space, whether it's on the left or the right. And he runs at people. And if you see the Newport defence, they just kept backing off him. And then he just thought, well, let's have a go. I'm screaming pass. And there it is in the corner of the goal, and the keeper well beaten.
Yeah. And I think I said this to you on the group as well, Warren. I was like, I hate inverted wingers, but if the inverted wingers are going to do that for us, then maybe I'm wrong. So yeah, Bex, your view on that goal.
Yeah, I've got nothing against an inverted winger. I don't mind that. I mean, it was quality strike, and it was really interesting when you went on socials that fans from all the other clubs were saying, yeah, if you sign him, that's what you're going to get. And if we can see a few more of those goals, I definitely won't be sorry. It was a quality strike.
It was. It really was. And then obviously on the strike of half time, we had Dackie's penalty. It was a non-event, wasn't it, really? Because we always knew that Dackie was going to do it. The thing that I liked is that Max Clark stepped up to take it and then gave it to Dack. So, Warren, your thoughts on that, mate?
Yeah, I think throughout the game, Bradley Dack showed real leadership, and more leadership than I've ever seen before, I think. And I think being able to stand up, take a penalty right on the stroke of half time off somebody that had scored the previous 2 games ago against Bromley away, a last minute penalty, that takes some courage. Because if you miss, you're going to get absolutely lambasted, and everyone will be saying, why didn't Clark take it? But the penalty was just quality, wasn't it? Let's be honest. If you see a penalty like that in a penalty shootout anywhere in the world, you're going to say, what a great penalty. Mm-hmm. Keeper had no chance. He dived the right way, but he was never going to get it. It was hit firm, placed firm, and was right in the side netting. Yep. Perfect penalty.
There we go. Yeah, so definitely. And Dean, I mean, obviously you were a little bit behind Warren, but what were your thoughts on? I mean, to me, it was a soft penalty to give, maybe, potentially, but it was a penalty nonetheless. So, yeah, your thoughts on the build-up, really, because I think when it's Sam Gale that came running through, and then we had the penalty. So, what were your thoughts on it overall?
Well, to be honest, when he gave their penalty, you knew there was a good chance we were going to get one because their one was pretty similar. I think he got turned, didn't he? And Smith fouled him. Yeah, to be honest, I wasn't overly impressed when I saw Dak was going to take it. I thought, no, let Clark take it after what he did at Bromley. But as Warren said, I think he couldn't have got it any further in the corner if he tried. And that man, Sam Gale, creating another goal for us, because that must be the third or fourth this season that he's either got us a corner and we scored from, got us a penalty. But just saying what Warren said, if you watched Dak on Saturday, he was a lot telling people where to go and encouraging people, which I suppose because I wanted him to stay this season, I paid a bit of attention to what he's doing, and he was quite a lot there, go there. And I don't know whether he played a part in swapping Smith over to the other wing, because I think that was half the problem in the first 20, is that Newport were coming down that side and Smith wasn't getting in the way. So I think they swapped people over. But anyway, it was a good penalty, well placed.
There you go. And Bex, yourself?
Yeah, I actually felt a bit bad for the keeper because he went the right way. He did everything right, but there was enough power on the shot and it was far enough in the corner. He was never getting to it. It was a great strike. I did love it when they went over to celebrate the goal. And I thought, oh, look at that. They're all happy. And then I noticed, I think it was Seb, having a little word in Andrew's ear and giving him a few instructions. And it just shows that New Gills team that we've got now, even when we're celebrating a goal, we're still looking at how can we be better. And I really liked that moment. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think it was. And, you know, we spoke about it during the week, and there are things during the week where Andrews has said that Sam Vokes has been, you know, one-on-one training, doing stuff like that with him. And it just for me, it's such a great experience for not only the younger players, but the older players. The fact that the older players are really, really trying to help them. And it's testament to Gareth Ainsworth. And I mean, I've said this on a few occasions, like he gets it. That's it. It's as simple as that. Like you can't really say anything else. But yeah, he definitely gets it. So I want to ask you all, like your overview, if you could give it a rate out of 10, this game, not thinking about the 21, just thinking about this game in isolation. Dino, how would you rate that out of 10?
The game, I don't know, 9. The atmosphere was pretty good, despite the weather. The performance, I would say, was a performance that I've been looking for years from Gillingham. Don't give up. Yeah, a 9 with a great atmosphere and a great performance, and we didn't let anything stop us from winning the game, really. So yeah, 9, I think.
There you go. And Bex, yourself?
Yeah, I'd say probably about an 8. I mean, we can all agree the first 5 minutes was absolute carnage. So you can't give them a 10 if they're going to go and concede that early. But fair play to them for coming back the way they did. And what an entertaining first half. I think second half, we kind of knew they'd shut up shop and not take any chances. But it was a great game.
Yeah, and it was. And to be fair, in the second half, it was pretty much a non-event. But then we are kind of grateful for that. And the fact that we'd scored all of our goals in the first half. I think there was one opportunity for Sam Vokes towards the end. And I was kind of like, please let it be 3-1. Please let it be 3-1. And it was nearly 4-1, but it wasn't. But yeah, Warren, yourself, mate. How would you rate that out of 10?
Yeah, it was a good 7. If the second half would have been a bit more entertaining like the first half, then whatever. But the second half, we just closed out the game. We saw it through comfortably. Didn't look at any problems. I just want to give a shout out to the ref on Saturday. Now, I know Dean alluded to the fact that he gave 2 soft penalties, but even though he gave 2 penalties and gave out 6 yellow cards, I thought he's quite invisible on Saturday. And I didn't think he wanted to be the star of the show, and he just let the game flow. It was wet conditions. He did give a little bit with the conditions, and we all embarrassed referees at the first opportunity, especially when we lose. But I'd just like to say that actually I thought the referee did really well on Saturday, and he allowed a decent game to go ahead and be played in the right spirit.
Yeah, there we go then. So we will move on to our man of the matches. And Dean, because you are a virgin to not only our show, but every other show, I will go with you first. And you went for Johnny Williams. What were your reasons?
I just thought that he was everywhere, all over the pitch. He was crunching tackles. There was one in the first half, I think. He slid for miles, it seemed. And I don't know, I just thought he was everywhere. He didn't give up. And we've been looking for ages for a player, I think, who winds the other team up. And he has that knack of, let's be honest, he doesn't get fouled, but he makes out of this he's been fouled. And I just loved that on Saturday, because there was a few times where he was all over the pitch. He was getting involved. And I think there was a few times he was winding them up where he was, I won't say rolling round, but he didn't get touched. And I like that, because we've missed that for a few seasons, I think, someone to wind the other team up, But I thought he was everywhere on Saturday. So for me, he was man of the match.
Yeah. Yeah, and I do like, and I think I've spoken about this before, but I do like the shithousery, as we would say, that has now come into our team. We used to be too nice. We used to be too prim and proper, but we are now bringing that into our team. So I'm just going to ask you, Warren, your man of the match was Bradley Dack. And your reason why, mate?
I thought after that penalty saved by Glenn, I think he just grabbed hold of the team and he dragged them along at a greater pace and made them believe in themselves. I thought, especially second half, I thought he controlled the midfield with his calmness. His leadership was absolute first class. I didn't know whether he led out the teams or not as captain. I didn't see the captain's armband on him. I would imagine he was captain Saturday. But bear in mind, I missed their goal because I was still in the pub. I was still in the bar at the ground. I didn't see him come out. But no, I thought Dak was immense. And I've been a big knocker of Bradley at times over the last 18 months. But I thought Saturday really proved why he could become the best signing of the summer.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll get on to mine in a minute and I'll explain that. But we'll move on to Bex. Obviously, your man of the match was made up of a lot of good moments. So, yeah, carry on.
Yeah, ironically, I'd actually said that there were 3 I was trying to choose between. And between us, we've come up with all 3. So I feel glad that I have gone for Glenn. I just think that, we know that the penalty save was the pivotal moment in the match. And if he doesn't save that, the game looks different. But that wasn't his only quality save in the match. He really looked very, very solid at the back. And he was shouting instructions in all the right places. He was getting out early. And I think, yeah, he's such a solid keeper. Thank heavens it was him between the sticks, really.
Yeah, I was torn between Glenn and I was torn between my choice. But I definitely think that my choice won it. So I've gone for Dacky purely because in the last 2 games, like he came in, Amani Little's been out. He's taken that captain's armband and he's really, really like taking it on for himself. Like you could see it when we played Notts County. You could see it Saturday, where he was really just. He was telling the players what to do. He was getting them to do what he wanted them to do. He was really G'ing them up. And it, considering he came back to us and looked absolutely terrible last season through no fault of his own much. But it was just that in and out of the squad, like injuries, everything else. He's been, again, the same with Josh Andrews, actually, this season. They've just not picked up injuries. They just seem to be like playing a consistent game of football. But Daki himself, he loves this football club, right? He came up through this football club and he wants to be at this football club. And the last 2 games for me, he's been absolutely fantastic. So yeah, Daki for me. Daki all day long. You could make arguments, as you say, Bex for Glenn Morris. You could also make arguments for Johnny Williams. You could also make arguments for a lot of players on that pitch. But yeah, for me, it just stood out because it's that leadership that he seems to have. And when Marlon Little's been out, it's just been absolutely brilliant. So yes, sorry, I'll stop rambling now. So we will move on to the views news, and I'm going to hand over to Warren.
Yeah, cheers, guys. I'll just take this opportunity for a couple of shout-outs. The first one is a bit sad because this is a bit of a eulogy. My mate Dave Wells, who passed away 2 years ago, absolute top bloke, went to many away games with him. Unfortunately, died at a very early age 2 years ago, and this week is the anniversary of his death. So a big shout out to Dave. Love you, mate, even though you're still upstairs. The second one is Mick O'Shea. A lot of people know Mick from football, going home and away. It was his birthday this week, 62nd birthday. So happy birthday to Mick. But the thing I wanted to mention with Mick is that instead of wanting a gift for himself for his birthday, he wanted people to donate to a young lady called Rebecca who's trying to pay for vital treatment for stage 4 bowel cancer. So if any Gillingham fans could just spare a little bit of cash, go to Mick's Facebook page. All the details are on there. And if you just help Mick raise a few quid for his birthday to say that he's achieved something by donating to Rebecca's fund, I would be grateful, and I'm sure Mick would be absolutely over the moon. So,
yeah, Warren, can I just interject, mate?
Go on in.
Because I know Mick, I know his sons. We're from Herne Bay, and I used to hang around with Sonny and his boys and all that lot when I was a kid. So yeah, please do, as Warren says, please do go there and do that, because I grew up with them. I grew up with the O'Sheas and they were my mates. So yeah, please do.
Yeah, cheers, Chris. So we go on to the views news. And record breakers. I can remember seeing 7. I worked it out. I saw 7 of the previous run of 20 in 73-74. So I saw 7 home games. I didn't do any away games in that run. I did my first away game, FA Cup against Cambridge that year, but I did see 7 of the record breaking 20. I would like to ask you all a few questions about our record breakers. So, Chris, I'm going to come to you first. Last season, we at times we slaughtered this team, right? And we slaughtered some of these players for their attitudes. I don't want you to mention Gareth in any of your answers when I'm talking about record breakers, because I want to go on to Gareth later. But what do you think is the biggest change in our players' attitudes?
I'm probably going to get pelters for it, but I'm going to say it anyway. I think that you've kind of got rid of 3 or 4 players there that were attitudes within the squad. So you're looking at Jaden Clark, you're looking at Max Amer, and you're looking at Jack Nolan. So you're getting rid of those people out of that dressing room, which are probably going to cause you a lot of issues, because for me, it may not be the case, but for me, they were the main 3, and I'm pretty sure Dean will back me up on this with at least one of them. But yeah, no. So for me, I think you've kind of got rid of the attitudes, and we've now got what looks like a team that want to play not as a cohesive unit as such, but for everyone within the squad. But it only takes one or two, mate. It only takes one or two to have an attitude problem to actually cause that disconnect within the dressing room. So yeah, that's mine.
Yeah. So Bex, what I'd like to ask you is why do you think the players' attitudes have changed without mentioning Gareth?
I think it doesn't just come from him. I think the choice of captain makes a big difference. And like Chris, I felt that had become a problem towards the end of his time with us. And when you saw him on the pitch, he played the good game, but he wasn't being a leader. And what we saw with Armani, and the reason he got the armband, was he was chivvying up the other players. He was geeing up the fans. He was getting everyone moving. And I think now we're in a really good position because we haven't just got one leader on the pitch. You know, when he's fit, we've got Little, we've got Dak, we've got Sam Gale, who is also right up there. And I think when you've got more than one person saying, come on, let's do this, be better, be your best self, it pulls everyone else along. And I think it makes a huge difference. And you see it in the individuals. I mean, at the end of the Newport game, there were several players just sat on the ground, absolutely exhausted from the effort they put in because they wanted it. You know, players who weren't even in the squad traveling up to watch the game just to be part of it. And that spirit will get you a long way.
Right, I'll go to Dean, my old nemesis on Twitter. Right.
I don't know who dislikes me more, you or Jaden Clark. So.
I'll be honest with you, Dean. I can't stand you. No, fair play to you. You have changed over the last 12 months. I know you banned me from Twitter about 5 times from watching your account, and I was quite pleased. So it was quite good. So Dean, 12 months ago, you were slaughtering some of these players, right? What has been the big turnaround? You was there Saturday. What do you think is the one ingredient that's been the big turnaround, apart from Gareth, right? Because we all know he has. But what is the one other ingredient you think has changed this set of players to the ones you was slaughtering 12 months ago?
I don't know. I think I was at Barrow. I don't know if you guys were when it was really, really bad afterwards. You know, and it was that bad. I felt sorry for them, the abuse they were getting. But then also I went to the Walsall game, I think was the next away game after that, where they come over afterwards and they were in the corner and they were having photos and saying hello. I don't know whether the attitude changed amongst the fans and the players after the Walsall game. And if we built on that for the rest of the season, I mean, I think it does help that, you know, my mate left because I think he had a stinky attitude. Arguing with me on Twitter shows that, I think. But I don't know whether it's just the change of captain. And as after that Barrow game, I think me personally, I saw that they were trying more, which means I think if other people were seeing that, then I think we bought into it, didn't we? And I know that I wasn't his greatest fan, but Coleman changed things when he took over, you know, and I think the one we're not allowed to mention for now carried that on. He got them more together as a team. And what Coleman did after that Walsall game, I think it carried on after that. When they come over, I think after that, we started making progress as a team and the fans, you know, and I think that's carried on now. I think on Saturday it showed when we went 1-0 down and at Bromley, no one moaned, did they? No one moaned at Bromley when we went 2-0 down. No one moaned on Saturday when we went 1-0 down. And I just think we've all got on side, which is then, I think that's lifted the players as well, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah. You've ruined my next question. So, Bex, what part did John Coleman, do you think, played in the turnaround of fortunes? Because let's not forget, the first 3 games of this run, he was the boss.
Yeah, I think the one thing he really quickly identified was that lack of effort that we as fans had been complaining about. And he said very publicly that he was going to make them work very, very hard, both in training and during matches. And you did see that right from the off. And I think that was where the shift in the culture amongst the players began, which is obviously then fed out to the fans. And now that the fans are behind the team again, that makes it easier for them to keep that effort going because they're being rewarded for it. So I think it was that shift in attitude and culture that Coleman brought. I think that was where it started.
Yeah, and Chris, what do you think was Coleman's biggest attribute that he brought to the club at a time when, at the end of Bonner's tenure, it was hopeless, wasn't it? Let's be honest, right?
Yeah.
There was nothing. There was disharmony amongst the crowd. Everyone was arguing with each other on Twitter, in the ground, and on other social media sites. And the club was broken. And although results weren't brilliant under Coleman, what do you think he brought into the club that was good?
I think you have to go back to that Bromley game and look at the way that these players were broken under Bonner. I don't think Mark Bonner's a terrible person. I will never say that. I just think that, and I don't even think he was out of his depth. I just think that Mark Bonner is the kind of man, well, not even a manager, is a science person. It's all very well and good. Like he got promoted with Cambridge during COVID, which was very easy when you've got Paul Mullin up front. You've got Joe Ironside, and you've got Wes Houlihan. So that's a cheat code in itself. I think that he probably didn't have the players. I think after we played Barrow at home, he kind of lost the dressing room because of his comments after that. And it's very easy to lose a dressing room when you've never played the game professionally. So anyway, moving on. I definitely think that John Coleman coming in was to steady the ship. I don't think it was ever going to be anything else other than that. I think he wasn't universally liked, but he managed to get us away from where we shouldn't have been. I think that said person coming in it's just like you have to give John Coleman some credit. I'm sorry, you have to, because we were heading in the very wrong direction. So yeah, I'm going to give him some credit, not a lot, but I'll give him some.
Yeah, I agree, Chris, and I think John Coleman deserves a small bit of credit in the 21 games because. And at the time, I thought it very strange bringing Coleman in. I wasn't that enamoured with Gareth coming in at the time because I thought John Coleman was just starting to turn things around and maybe had a pre-season, got players in that he wanted. But the football club took a really brave decision in going to get Gareth from Shrewsbury. I know we had to pay compensation, and I think that, and I'm going to go on about Joe Comper in a second. I thought Joe Comper recognising that we needed something special. John Coleman was okay. He wasn't special.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that he's brought in something special and somebody who knows how to treat players, knows how to treat fans, knows how to work hard, knows how to put everything into it has been brilliant. So I just want to go on to Joe Comper. So not many people know this. It was kept rather quiet between myself and Joe and what we spoke about. But 2 years ago, 18 months ago, I met with Joe at the football club. He was meant to be meeting me at the Cricketers. He was late, and then I rang in to say I was going home and to forget it. And he said, no, come down to the football club. Come down, I really want to meet you. So we went down to the football club and we had a chat for a couple of hours, and it was really good. And what Joe really wanted to ask me was how can I get the fans and the players together? right? And I gave him a few ideas. He bounced back a few at me, and we had a pretty good chat about it. And I said, the only way that we will ever go forward is if the fans and supporters are aligned, right? And that has been the same at this football club since I started going in 73, 74 season, where if the fans and the football players and the football managers and the chairman and whoever else is involved are all singing from the same hymn sheet, that's when you become a strong football club.
Yeah.
Now, my last bit of record breakers is, Bex, I want to ask you, I'll come to you last then, not for any other reason, but because you was there just behind me at Newport Saturday. What did you think of, at the end of the game, when we actually finally broken the record, of the players and the reaction of the players and how they all came on, even our injured players, to have photographs in front of the supporters? What did you think of that?
Yeah, I think there's two things I'd say about that. Firstly, I think involving the fans in those photos is so important for the exact reason you just said. You know, how you make those links between the players and the fans is by making the fans feel that they are part of the success. And I think it was very telling that they did two photos to make sure they included as many fans as they could. But I think we also have to remember that this is their record. This is the day that they as players get to be a part of history. And they want to remember that. You know, they want to have photos to look back and say, oh, I remember that day, how amazing it was. So I think it was a pretty special moment. It was really nice to see. And to see them looking so happy about it was fantastic.
Yeah, Chris, I want to ask you, what did you think of the fact that Amani Little and Conor Masterson on crutches were still a part of the celebrations at the end? Because at the end of the day, they have played games and they have been part of the run and the success of this record-breaking run.
Yeah, it's kind of testament, isn't it, to the way that the club is at the moment. We're at this point where even if you're not included in the squad, they still want to be part of it. They still want to be pushing with it. They still want to be there. So, I'm not surprised, to be quite honest with you, that Amani Little and Conor Masters and two leaders in this squad, I am not surprised that they were there at all.
Yeah, and I'll go to you, Dino, because obviously you were stood behind me at Newport. How did that make you feel as somebody as part of the crowd when the players, and those directed by Dak as well, and showing real good leadership with that part of the celebration? How did you think that made you feel as a Gillingham fan when the players wanted to have their photos done with the fans?
I was. It sounds sort of stupid, but I was, sort of felt involved and proud to be part of it. I mean, mainly because you can see me waving in the background of the picture. But yeah, no. I mean, no, it was nice, and I think it was nice they did it in front of both sets of fans. But for me, I was just, after going to so many games over the last few years, and last time I was at Newport, I was down the front giving Clements some words of advice that he didn't take on board. Yeah, I was. I've only done that twice. Twice I've done that in 40 years of watching Gillingham, and both were under Stephen Clements, where I've gone down the front and given my opinion. But no, it was nice to be there, and it was nice to be involved in the celebration. And I thought it was great that they all just looked so happy to be there, which hasn't been the case over the last few years when players have been walking off the pitch after playing for Gillingham. So it was great to be there and great to be involved in it. I felt part of it.
For me, it was part of what Joe's wanted to achieve, and something that's not recognised wholly by Gillingham fans. Luke, I just think that Joe and, of course, the Gallinsons have made mistakes over the past few years, but they've rectified them. When they've seen a mistake, they've been big enough to go out and say, hey, this isn't working, we'll change it. Right? We won't bow down to fan pressure and go on tour. We want the change rooms done. Little things like that are helping the squad, and whatever changes they've made in the dressing room is obviously working, because Priestfield is a bit of a fortress. I just think that it's little things that they've changed and tweaked and pushed along, and because of the situation we've been in the league, we've had to go out and sign players that may not necessarily be for longevity, but we've had to sign them on big contracts or long contracts or longer contracts than we hoped for, to get us out of the mire. But for me, Saturday just proved what Gillingham Football Club could be, is, and will be, right? If everyone sticks together, goes forward, and it's a happy place. And there's nothing better than going to football on a Saturday where nobody's moaning, whinging before a ball's even kicked. We're all looking forward to the game. We're not going out of habit. We're going because we want to. And I think that it's just such a lovelier place to go when, forget the success, because obviously success breeds that attitude. But I just think it's such a good place to be, and just seeing a squad of players absolutely giving their all, and fair play to all those boys who've played in the record-breaking run, right? You've all done your bit, and you've all been fantastic, and I hope you continue to be fantastic. Yeah. But we've just got to realise that it's not always going to be a bed of roses, and I hope that it will show us as fans and the players that if things do start to go bad and we lose one, that we don't get on players' backs, because if we lose, it won't be for the want of trying. Yeah. So, hopefully we get on. So I want to
I do, if I can touch on that, Warren. I do want to just say that Brad, Shannon, and Joe have made a lot of mistakes, but I think it's naivety more than anything. And now that they're starting to realise their mistakes, we are actually in a better position. It's about balance, isn't it? I can sit there all day long and say I think recruitment's terrible, but then when you've got the right people in place, I can also say recruitment's good. I'm not saying that just yet. I'm not rolling out the red carpet. I'm just saying it's about balance rather than just continuously slating everyone.
Yeah, but going back onto the recruitment, Chris, right? And I've been like you. I've slaughtered recruitment, right? But do you not think that recruitment have signed the right players, right? Apart from the ones that we've got rid of, recruitment have signed some really good players, but it's not been the perfect fit with the bosses that we've employed. So Clements, Bonner, Coleman, and then finally we get the right person in, and those players absolutely are thriving above and beyond, right? And I think that goes down to the mistakes we've made with management appointments to getting it right, and hopefully we can push on.
Yeah, so but then this is the thing that I'm saying though, and I've said all along, like a manager has to fall on his own sword. So if Gareth wants these players in there, he clearly sees something within these players. He needs to be the one that's signing the players. And if he wants to keep these players, I 100% back these players, not 100% back that. But I think in recent windows and with recent managers, we've been given players rather than actually signing players that the manager wants. And maybe that's where we have literally gone down the rabbit hole of, oh, what do we do now? So anyway, move on.
Yeah, so I want to go on to Gareth Ainsworth, and I want to ask all three of you, right, in 3 words, describe what Gareth Ainsworth means to you as Gillingham Football Club manager. And I'm going to go to Dean first.
Oh,
3 words, you know.
3 words.
Calm as a bitch, Dean.
I don't know. Just what was needed.
Yeah.
That's 4 words.
Yeah. I didn't think he was that intelligent, Dean.
No.
Thanks. Over to you.
Oh, in 3, it's hard. Brings the atmosphere.
Chris?
What a guy.
Yeah, and mine's absolutely bloody magic.
Yeah.
So
can I ask all three of you something?
no.
Okay.
No, go on, Chris.
No, what I wanted to say is, Dean, I'll start with you, mate. What do you feel that the difference between Gareth and previous incumbents, what do you think the difference is with his mindset within the squad?
Because I think from the beginning, he seems to have treated them all like he trusts them. And I don't think Clements or Bonner did when they come on board, So obviously I know Nolan's left, but even then he did play him at first. He gave him his chance, So I think he trusts the players, and I think that he's the sort of manager that you can see as he's giving them a bollocking, he's also telling them he loves them.
Yeah. Bex, yourself?
I think he understands who we are.
Yeah.
He gets the Gillingham DNA, and it's not, we're not the same as any other club. We are who we are. I think our away end proves that. But he gets what we're about, and I think he's helped everyone else realise who we are as well. And I think that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, more on yourself, mate.
Yeah, so for me, new age players are totally different to the players from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s. I don't think you can bollock players anymore. I don't think you can throw teacups anymore in the dressing room. And I think he gets how to manage the new up-and-coming professional footballer, as well as some of the older guys. But he knows how to manage people. And I think that is the art of management. But it's not just managing people. It's managing Brad and Shannon. It's managing Joe Comper. It's managing Andy Hessenthaler. It's managing us as fans. And any good manager, right, as Dean will say, you've got to be able to manage upwardly as well as downwardly. And I think that Gareth does an absolute brilliant job of it. And I think that he just gets it. And I think that he's moulded a group of players into half of them who couldn't be bothered to a group of players that now will strive to work more than the 100%, even though you can't get more than 100%. Those players want to give that extra every second they're on that pitch.
Yeah.
And they're desperate to get the shirt, but they're desperate to be part of the squad. They're desperate to get in the squad, right? Even the youngsters are desperate to get in the squad, right? And he's thrown a couple of youngsters in, right? We sold Joe Bailey, fine, fair enough, he's gone. But he's not afraid to make decisions. And he's not afraid to, as you alluded to earlier, of falling on his sword by making those decisions, right? Whether they're substitutions, whether they're his team selection from the start, whether he has to change tactically like he did against Newport after 7-8 minutes, right? He just knows how to manage. And since probably Martin Allen and Tony Pulis, we haven't had anyone who knows how to manage games, knows how to manage his players that he's got under his wing. And for me, that is the most important part in football nowadays, because you see so many managers, right, struggle with just managing players. So I think it's testament to Gareth that he can do that.
Yeah, fair enough. And I appreciate the eulogy, and I'm pretty sure Gareth would appreciate it as well. You're on the level of Emlyn who's going to be sending him a Valentine's card any day now. That we'll get to him on the 14th of February. But we'll quickly move on to the View 6. And I'm not going to read it out this week, but the View from the Medway had these results, and Dwayne had them results, meaning the actual physical results were Barnet 3, Grimsby 0, Barrow 1, Crewe 1, 0, Newport 1, Gillingham 3, Salford 3, Swindon 2, Cheltenham 0, Oldham 3, and Colchester 1, Bristol Rovers 1, which means we have literally, guys, we've fallen on absolute 0 points this week, and the guest has got 7. So that means that the View from the Medway has got 49 and the guests have got 56. So I do believe that there was a little thing in this clause where if we got 0 points, that one of us has to do a forfeit. So I'm putting it on Warren on Saturday, Mr. Project 8000. I want you to get shirtless and sing the last waltz before kickoff.
I'll be like Ravanelli with a belly.
So that's your forfeit, and I want it on camera. So anyway, we will quickly move on to the predictions for next week. So we've gone for 3-1 to Notts County away to Crewe. We've gone 4-0 at home to Chesterfield v Newport. We've gone 2-0 Gillingham against Harrogate at home. Swindon 2-1 at home to Bromley, and Bristol Rovers are losing 2-1 to Salford at home. Dean's gone 1-1. He's gone Chesterfield 2-0 at home. Gillingham 2-0 for Harrogate at home. 3-1 for Swindon at home to Bromley. Bristol Rovers 1. Salford 1 and Crawley 2 and Barrow 0. So yeah, Dino, any thoughts behind that, or just a bit of a shot in the dark, mate?
No, I was, when you asked me, I was just trying to quickly think of where they were in the table, and reel some results off. But we'll see how I do.
There we go. So we will quickly look ahead to Harrogate. So Mr. Project 8000, the club have opened up the temporary stand in the town end for us fans, and it's £5 a ticket. So if I've got to take my hat off to you, mate, to be quite honest with you, because you're not my hero, but you're a hero. You've literally done so much hard work in the last couple of weeks to do this. So yeah, everyone, if you don't want to go to a game, usually because it's too expensive, you can this week because of this man in my top right-hand corner. So yeah, and the football club as well. Joe Comper, Brad, Shannon, everyone there that has made it happen, as well as this man here. So yeah, Men's Priestfield, 27th of the 9th, 25. We are playing Harrogate at home, so our last 5 have been win-win, draw, win-win, and they've lost, win. So, Warren, I will go with you, mate, and I really appreciate you, and I'm so proud of what you've achieved with the football club to do this, and I love you, mate. So, yeah, you go.
So this is what happens when I get bored at home, right? So before the Crewe game, I started it on a Friday, and I thought I'd just bomb the shit out of Twitter because I was stuck indoors on my own, doing nothing, not just messing around with my phone, and I started something. And then after the Crewe game, before the Notts County game, someone tweeted me and said, could you do it all again for the Notts County game? So I blasted it out for the Notts County game. I got a bit despondent because I think we deserved a better crowd than what we got. But I do understand it is still school holidays or people going on holiday. I know a lot of adults go because the kids are back at school. So I did appreciate that. I just put a couple of tweets out, I think Sunday. And then today it's just hit the roof because Brad and Shannon have both got involved. The football club's got involved. Joe Common's got involved by getting cheap tickets in the Medway stand, which is great because it means that we may get extra people want to come to watch the Gills, especially if we win. But I think that the Gallinsons, the football team, the managers, all the backroom staff that work really hard at the football club deserve an 8,000 crowd for all their efforts on Saturday.
Yeah.
Right? This hasn't got anything to do with me. I'm just sitting there on my phone because I'm bored. But I just think that an 8,000 crowd for Brad and Shannon will be a nice little thank you to say thank you for what you're doing at our football club. A big thank you to the team for actually entertaining us and putting on the shirt and giving us 100% over the last 21 games. And a big thank you to the staff at the football club, your Hesson Tylers, your compers, all those in the sales office, those in the shop, those who work behind the bar, those who work in the food counters. It's just a thank you to say our football club's actually going somewhere.
Yeah.
And so tomorrow, if you haven't got your ticket, get on the phone, get on the internet, book your tickets. I know the Rainamen's nearly sold out already. Get your cheap tickets while they're there, because I don't think there'll be any more. So you need to grab them quick. But get in the Gordon Road, get in the Medway stand. I know tickets are going quite fast. This is a team worth supporting. Get there Saturday and prove that we are proper Gillingham fans.
Yeah, that's it, mate. That's it. That's it. And yeah, obviously the town end is open for home fans as well. So £5 a ticket, not really much to ask, is it? But yeah, anyway, Warren, I'm going to stay with you, mate. And obviously we'll talk about the Harrogate game in its isolation, really. Yeah, and what your hopes and aspirations are for Saturday.
Well, I hope we get 8,000 crowd. We win 3-0. We keep our run going. And I can annoy everyone at work by singing 22, 22, undefeated.
22, 22,
22, 22, undefeated.
Playing the Ainsworth way. There we go. And Dino, your hopes and aspirations for Saturday, mate.
Well, I just hope that if we get the big crowd, we play how we have been lately and don't do a normal Gillingham, when we get a big crowd. And personally, I'd hope for Nevitt to score because I think he deserves a goal.
Yeah.
He deserves a goal. He played really well on Saturday. He doesn't give up. So a big crowd, big performance and a goal for Nevitt and a win, obviously.
There we go. And Bex, yourself, hopes and aspirations for Saturday?
Yeah, same as everyone else, really. Keep that unbeaten run going. I think the atmosphere is going to be really important because I don't think Harrogate will bring that many down. So if we can make a bit of noise, be a bit intimidating, really get the fans behind the team, as we always do at home. Lots of goals would be very nice. We've got to think about the future. I know that a few people are starting to murmur about promotion, but I'd just like to throw out there that we have an opportunity to have the longest unbeaten run of any League Two club. We're only about 7 games away from that now. So let's push on towards that.
Oh, who was that club then?
That was Scunthorpe, 2013, 2014, 28, I believe.
So there you go.
Yeah, I think it was started mid-season, right the way through to the end of the season. They didn't have any losses.
Oh, there we go then. There we go. So, yeah, I think we'll win Saturday. I'm so confident within this team at the moment. Like, even when we went 1-0 down, they missed a penalty. I put on the group and I said, we're going to win this 3-1, and we did. I've just got so much confidence, not only within the squad, but just with Gareth as well. And I just fucking love this football club at the moment. Like, and this team, like, we just don't know when we're beaten, right? And it's such night and day, considering that a lot of these players were here last season, they'd fold under like the slightest bit of pressure. We are just a totally different outfit this season, and I will back them all day long. And I think me and you, Bex, we watched it in the factory when we played Bromley, and even when we were 2-0 down, I was like, we're still going to win it.
Yeah.
Like,
and everybody still believed.
And that is the belief that I've got within this team. So, yeah, that's brilliant. So maybe we'll take a couple of questions quickly, if there are any. I think there's a couple of comments, at least. Gareth Ainsworth, insistent that he could be in control of the football process. Blah, 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 blah. Yep, can't deny that. And he's also said speedy recovery, Bex. I think there's one for Warren here. Yeah, it definitely is because it's at 73-74. So Warren might remember. I don't remember it personally. I wasn't even a look in my dad's sack. But yeah. So that's it, guys. We're pretty much at the end of the show. I just want to quickly touch on the sponsors and partners. So we are sponsored by Snodhurst Used Car Sales and Service Station and Wicked Creative. We are also in partnership with the Gillingham FC Supporters Club. As you've probably seen down below, if you go onto their website and want to be a part of that, then you get 10% off now if you quote TVF Tim in the discount code thing there. So before we do go, guys, I just want to ask each of you what one not necessarily a one-worded answer, maybe. How do you feel the rest of the season is going to go without getting too ahead of yourself? So Warren, I'll start with you.
I don't think you're going to puke again on the show.
We've gone the whole show without it. Right?
But he carried on regardless.
We carried on regardless.
Yeah. No, I think this team will be in the playoffs. We won't finish outside the playoffs. I'm not saying that we go up automatically because you don't know what's going to happen with injuries, suspensions, because we are picking up quite a few yellows. But I think we've got a strong enough squad to combat that. I can't see us finishing out the playoffs. Everyone says look at the first 10 games, and if we're unbeaten on Saturday, that'll be 10 games into the season, and I think that will give you a fair reflection where the top 10 teams, it'll be any three from those top 10 that get promoted and be in the playoffs, and I think we've got a damn good chance. And I wouldn't have said that at the start of the season.
There we go. And Dino, yourself, mate?
Yeah, I mean, I predicted 7th before the season started, so I'm pretty confident that we're still going to reach at least 7. I think, to be honest, the difference this season is the depth of the squad as well. I mean, you've got to think we've still got McCleary to come back, Masterson maybe. So I think even if we get, which I think there are some players on 3 or 4 bookings, I think we've just got an awesome squad this season, if I'm honest. You know, what have we got? 5 strikers. So I'm pretty confident we'll be in the top 7. If not, squeeze in the top 3, but maybe that's a bit optimistic at the moment.
There we go. Jesus Christ. I don't know what you've done, Gareth, but Dino's really bloody optimistic. And Bex, yourself.
Well, I'm known to be the optimist, and I think it was you, Chris, that said to me at the start of the season that I needed to moderate my expectations. So I said, okay, fine, we'll finish 2nd then. I stand by that. But no, I think we're in a good place. I think the key is going to be to maintain the momentum now. So yeah, we'd all love to go the whole season unbeaten, but if the worst happens and we do lose a game, we have got to bounce back. We've got to prove what we're made of, and we can't let ourselves fall apart if we lose a game. And I think if we can keep that positive attitude behind the team, we should see good things this season.
Yeah, and I think that's probably key as well. And I don't mean it in a horrible way, but I do hope we lose a game at some point so that we can actually sit there and, like, you've been hit in the face, what are you going to do about it? Rather than just riding on this wave of, oh, we're going to win this, we're going to win every game. I would like to see the bounce back when we do actually lose a game and how Gareth manages that. I think that will be key to our success this season, to be fair. So, yeah, I think we're done, guys. I think there's another comment. Who's commented? Who's going? There we go. Champions. We can finish on that, and don't get too ahead of yourself, Dave. We will be back soon. Dean, thank you for coming on, mate. I really appreciate you coming on, and first time doing a podcast ever, really, isn't it?
Otherwise, give Warren a reason to block me again now, because
I've never blocked you, Dino. You've always blocked me. I'm always the bigger person, mate.
All right.
I've only got 2 people I've blocked on Twitter, so we can be friends again now.
But then, to be fair, me and Dean used to have a lot of arguments on X as well. But look, at the end of the day, we're all Gills fans. We are all here for the same reason. We are all here just to support a football club. So, yeah, if no one else has got anything else to say, then I've been Chris. He's been Warren. He's been Dino. She's been Bex. Good night and up the Gills.